Welcome back. This is Troy Bulkey with Credit Talk, and I'm here with Donald Gritten. But before we go on with Donald, our new guest, I need to finish the contact information for our last guest, Color My Credit, Alyssa Glutz. She's the author of Color My Credit. Her phone number is 480-206-6516. If you want to talk to her about either a mortgage or getting a hold of this book, 480-206-6516. Thank you. Donnie,
hey.
Nice to see you again, big guy.
It is, man.
Welcome,
how you been?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, from personal experience, I knew that you were the guy. When it comes to taxes and financial stuff and fundraising, I've never met a guy more resourceful than you. So I knew I had to have you on there because these small business guys, they need guidance. They need help. I mean, the reason why I'm doing so much stuff with you is because they want to get funded and they can't get funded without their tax returns, and they need it done in a hurry, and they got all kinds of issues and problems. They like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm like, there's only one place to go. It's just see the Don.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, when you're looking for capital, the first things the lenders ask for is tax returns, financial statements, and bank accounts. Mm-hmm. And how many times have you run into where a guy says, hey, I need $50,000 yesterday, and you ask him, do you have your financials together?
Daily.
Yeah, right? And they don't have it. So what we've done is we put together some pretty good resources to where we can get that turned around pretty quick.
Right.
That's that's the name of the game, as fast as possible.
So you've got systems.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a team of collaborative partners that we work with to do the data entry. Every bank statement transaction that you have has to be manually inputted into the system. And if you haven't filed your taxes in 1 to 5 years, all that information needs to go in before we get it done. And so
you find it's common that people haven't filed taxes for 1 to 5 years?
Oh, yeah, you would be amazed. Don't
I don't know anything about that. I was just asking you.
You'd be amazed on how many, it's really common amongst solopreneurs, your real estate agents, your insurance agents, landscaping, and so on. But you'd also be surprised on how many companies are doing 3 to 5 million that, we have a manufacturing company that we worked with that has done $3 to $5 million in annual revenue. And yeah, they have their own internal marketing, so they can track the processes of whatever item that they were creating. But they didn't have proper financials to put together a tax return and show to an investor or banking institution.
Yep. So at Opulent Business, you guys have broken the process down into sub-segments, almost like an assembly line.
Yeah.
Or just speed up the process, because if everyone's focused on doing their one aspect of the tax returns, it's a very complex process, but you break it down and you speed up the process and you help the business owner get the necessary documentation they need to get some funding. Yes?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, I don't know if I could have said it that eloquently. I appreciate that. Yeah,
because of age. I just turned 50, so.
Nice. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Actually, you've lost some weight since I last saw you. You're looking sharp.
The older I get, the harder I have to try, so.
Know the feeling. So basically what we do is we just take the customer through our system, which is very much like an assembly line. Mm-hmm. We have them collect their information, then we cultivate the information into reports, and then from the reports we create our tax returns. Tax returns then get filed. Typically, depending upon how many transactions they have, we can do 3 to 5 day turnarounds. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks. It all depends upon the participation of the client. But when nothing looks worse when you're going to get money, and then they say, give us your financials, and 6 months later you come back and say, hey, I'm ready. So what we've done is we pulled together the resources to get it done in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So now that I'm doing a different type of funding, before it was just based on FICO score, and that was it. Not FICO, but the FICO, the aging, the depth, and all the aspects of credit. Now I have the other form of funding that we do for the business owners that requires, okay, we'll give you $120,000, but we need you to show that you can pay it back. So we need to show an income of X. Mm-hmm. Thus, our client Larry, who we're doing his tax returns right now, because he makes the money, he's got the credit, but he didn't file his financials, and he doesn't have pay stubs because he's a business owner. So we have to show a tax return in order to get him the 100 or whatever we're getting him.
You're right.
Now I'm back at your table again, saying, hey, now I need tax returns all the time, because now this new funding source I have requires tax returns to show proof of income. So what else does Opulent Business do for the small business owner?
Well, another thing we do is we also provide consulting. So, one of the big things you run into when you hire an accountant, a CPA, or a tax preparer, you hire them to reduce your tax liability down to the smallest dollar, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you're paying for. And that works great when you're paying your silent partner called Uncle Sam. But it doesn't work very well for you when you're trying to get a loan. Yes. I have customers, I believe, the conversation you had earlier, there's a gentleman that was making millions of dollars and his credit score was a little off and he couldn't he couldn't get the loan he desired.
Right.
Well, that was a credit score issue, right? But more oftentimes than not, if the credit score is in good shape, a lot of times the bottom line on the financials don't prove that you can pay back your loan, although you make tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars through your company. Right. So there's a balance here. And that balance is that we increase the bottom line. There's a lot of things that people try to squeeze into their financial statement so they don't have to pay their silent partner called Uncle Sam. Mm-hmm. And all we do is we consult and advise on what to put in and what not to put in. So that way their bottom line increases. So that way they can show they really made the money. They're just proving that they can actually pay the loan back.
It is so funny because I have the same issue with these people coming in like, I need to borrow X. I make this, but I didn't show that on my taxes. Well, you know how it goes, Yeah, I know how it goes. You've got cash run that you're not reporting. You're not reporting all your earnings. Therefore, your tax returns demonstrate that you're making less than you're actually making, so you can pay less taxes. But now that you need a real loan for a real amount of money, I got to show this because that's all I have. So, well, what if I file it and then go back and change it? I'm like, I think that would be called financial fraud. I don't think you want to do that.
Well, underreporting is the fraud. Reporting what you actually earned, there's no issues. Mm-hmm. And they're called amendments on purpose. So if you've made a mistake, if you chose not to report income for whatever reason, look, I don't want to pay that silent partner either. I don't like it at all. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a guy who isn't involved in my business at all whatsoever takes 33% of my money. I don't like to pay him. Mm-hmm. So I totally get the rationale why you wouldn't show your cash receipts, right? I totally get it. However, everybody makes that mistake, right? So you talk to your brother-in-law. I always like to pick on brother-in-laws. You talk to your outlaw, right? So you talk to your outlaw, and they say, well, just put the cash underneath your mattress. Worst advice on the planet. Report it all. There's enough legitimate deductions out there on the planet to reduce your tax liability, and you actually show the income that you could pay your loan back.
Most people don't know that. What are some write-offs that people don't realize they have that they could be utilizing on their taxes?
Well, one of the biggest ones that I run into, and this is more in the your doctors and dentists, lawyers, mm-hmm. And those that actually own the real estate for their company.
Right.
Something called cost segregation is probably one of the largest missed deductions on the planet. It's so it can be very consuming while navigating it. We actually hire an engineer firm that goes into your office and does all the measurements, mm-hmm. Looks at the blueprints, look at what upgrades that you have.
Right.
And what cost segregation is that you take the total value of what you purchased the property for, and then you segregate out all of the add-ins. So it could be cabinets. If it's a doctor or a dental office, it's the communication between the medical and or the gases inside the wall. And we segregate those and put them in their own depreciation schedule. In English, you actually get to increase your deductions by tens of thousands of dollars this year rather than taking it over 27 and a half years.
Excellent. Give me another one I wouldn't have thought about because we got about one more minute before we have to break.
All right, cool. So I'll talk even faster. One big one is meals and entertainment. People believe that if you take you out to dinner, that it's a write-off. Well, it can be, okay, but typically it's only 50% deductible. So one of the big things that I advise my clients to do is just because you're at a coffee shop doesn't mean that you should buy everybody coffee. Or you shouldn't have every meeting at a restaurant.
Right.
Okay. So because it's whatever you pay minus 50%. The IRS says that you have to feed yourself or that you're going to drink a coffee. Mm-hmm. And so then the only thing that's tax deductible is what you're paying for your client. Many times I use it as a promotion. So rather than doing a one-on-one, I try to get a group of people together, and then therefore I can write off the entire meal. So not just my colleagues.
An education-based seminar or something like that.
Only on a smaller level. So like 3 or 4 individuals, like-minded, same industry. We're all networking together using collaborative community. Mm-hmm. Then I can write the whole thing off.
That's excellent. Well, I find that my partner wants me to stop taking so many people to dinner and lunch and so forth.
Wise man.
Yeah, right. This is Troy Bolke. We're here with Credit Talk and New Business Funders. I'm here with Donald Gritten, who is the owner and operator of Opulent Business, and we'll be right back.